Hello everyone, welcome back. As you may or may not have already heard, the Expanded Parks, or what we used to know it as the Expanded Islands mod, has returned and become available for Jurassic World Evolution 2. This was a mod from the original game that was really awesome, especially for people like me who like to build really big parks, really weird parks, really different parks. It basically allows you not only to build on more of the terrain that's available on a map, but also in places like the ocean. And of course, if you can build in the ocean, that begs the question, can we put aquatic dinosaurs in the ocean? Which is kind of a yes and no answer, and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. First, real quick, we will go over how to actually use the mod, how to activate it. Unlike the original mod, this one is it's the expanded park is basically added as an option. Just like you have the option to flatten your park, you now have the option to expand your park. Originally, you didn't have the option. It was an automatic thing. It changed the whole fundamental basics of the game, which meant that you couldn't load up old parks and you could only load parks that had them that you started once you started using the mod. So that made accessing old stuff impossible, which was a bummer. But now it doesn't matter. As long as you have the mod running, all you have to do is go to terrain and see how it says normal, flattened, and then expanded, and you just select expanded. That's it. You'll still be able to access your unexpanded parks, and you'll still be able to access your expanded parks. I can only assume that if you take the mod off, you will not be able to access your expanded parks, but I am not 100% certain. I don't know, and I did not see that mentioned one way or the other. So if I do find that out, I will let you guys know. But yeah, no, this is really cool. This is a great improvement to the mod, making it so that it's a choice, because that also means that if you don't want to build a huge park, you have that option too. What I'm actually, now that I'm, because I recorded all this stuff previously, and now that I'm doing the voiceover, I'm kind of wishing I had tried this out on the Pennsylvania. I love the Pennsylvania map just because of all the colors, but I should have tried it on the Pennsylvania map because that'll be really cool if we can build on that airfield. I don't know if it's a possibility or not, because these mountains, the mountains way far in the back on the other side of the water in this map are apparently it's like a background. It's like painted on, essentially. So from what I've read from other modders, it's not anything we're ever going to be able to access, but I wonder if we can access that airport. We'll have to find out. So of course, the first thing I did after looking at this, just at the map in general real fast, was to to see what I could build in the water, because building on the land is pretty much the same thing. You just have more land, but building the water is a completely different barrel of fish. I swear to God, I was not trying to make that pun. That was just the first one that came to mind. But as you can see, Canada is hugely expanded. You can come all the way back to these mountains right here. So that's really cool. And you've got all that water, which means you can build up islands and stuff. And in order to really utilize this mod, I highly recommend you have Chaodenic's free build mod, and you have Chaodenic's expanded terrain mod, because that will really allow you to just do almost anything. Oh, and this mod is by Open Naja. I almost said Open Ninja. Open Naja. So that definitely want to give them credit where credit is due. So I basically just started screwing around with I put the Pteranodon and a lagoon under the water just to see, and it works. And I imagine that might have something more to do with the free build, allowing it to be built down there. But I think because of the way the expanded park worked, that should work. So as you can see, I built a lagoon basically on the shore. I tried really hard, but I could not get the train to come down in front of that door. I don't think it's possible at the moment. When I released it, he just stayed in his little lagoon there. But after a while I was trying to think of other ways to make this work, you can see, I'll zoom in here, and he does in fact swim out through the through the rock and lands in the ocean. But then it just stays there. It just swims in place and doesn't come out. And I was screwing around in here for quite a while, and it still sat there and sat there and sat there. I tried it with some ichthyosaurs and a lagoon that was built underwater. Same thing. Once I released them, they just swam in place. So the potential is there. I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that they don't have like the whatever input they get from the barrier of the lagoon. So they just swim in place because the AI doesn't know what to do. Maybe that's something that can be dealt with in the future by modders. I have no idea. Definitely not my area of expertise. I have like no knowledge in that field, but that'd be something that'd be really cool. Because it would be neat to have them like swimming around kind of like in the ocean, or to make a natural lagoon for them. And that'd be really cool, because we did kind of do that with the original Jurassic World, because people made like Mosasaurus mods on the dinosaurs. And then you would put the dinosaur incubator into the water, so it was covered, and then just release it into the water. And it, you know, I mean, it's all we had at the time. I actually have a park that's built entirely in the water. I'll throw up a link or something either on the video or in the description so you can see it. I tried to see if maybe breaking down the building would work too, and getting rid of that plateau, but it's the same. Like, they still sit there and just swim. So, and I kind of like, I'm actually surprised this worked at all. The fact that it works at all, maybe there's hope for the future that we could have something like this in the future. But there is, in fact, and I'm actually like, I really like these ichthyosaur skins. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe doing a skin video for them, because they're really nice. But anyways, there is actually a way that you can kind of have your aquatic creatures in the ocean, though. Basically, you just make like a little island exhibit. So that's what we are going to see now. It's just a little like mini speed build for you. And it basically, with the help of the terrain tools mod, it's basically just a matter of raising the ocean floor up high enough that you get the lagoon to sit at a level that you're happy with. Now, what I did is I made it so that it sticks up out of the water quite a bit. I bet you if I messed with it for longer, I could have got it to where it was a little more sunken, but I don't know how that's going to affect like how you can see the creatures. This worked out really well as far as being able, because see, once I got like it on land, I was able to attach it without more land having to come up, which makes it easier for, you know, you while you're building it. And then I just used the terrain tools to make the land go down around it so you see as little land as possible. And I mean, it looks pretty good. You probably could get it sunken down more, but I don't know how it affects the visuals. This way, you are, like, spoiler alert, but you are able to see the creatures that you release in here from the top, like you would with a normal lagoon. So, like, to me, I think that is cool, and I'm not entirely sure if you lower it anymore, if you will be able to or not, because it's basically overlaying the look of the lagoon with the look of the ocean. So, you know, it's something obviously we're just all going to have to play around with if this is what we want. The ability to put those stadiums all next to each other, that's because of the free build mod. Like I said, this free build and the expanded terrain tools are, like, to me, like, if you're not using at least those, then together, like, I think you're missing out. There's also a couple other mods I've done videos about. One of the ones that's getting fixed at the moment is the expanded sandbox mod, and I think that one with this will just make a perfect, like, a near perfect sandbox experience. But as you can see, I just added some land, and I added a monorail to kind of make it like an exclusive little place to go. I did try to lower the stadium, and unfortunately it would not lower. What I didn't think about doing was trying to lower it once these dinosaurs got in there, because I wasn't able to go into the water originally, but once I released I said dinosaurs, I just realized that, but once I released the ichthyosaurs into it, it's like it triggered it over to being a lagoon, and I was able to click on them. I don't know if this video will show or not. I think it will. But I was able to click on them and go into the water. So I should have tried to look underwater again with the stadiums, but I forgot. So that's, for the future, something to think about. But, I mean, it works. So now you've got, like, a nice little island of, you know, with a lagoon on it, surrounded by somewhat natural surroundings. You know, it's kind of a cool idea. And you could have, like, a bunch of little islands in the water, and you could have, you know, like one of the domes on another island, and you can have some land dinosaurs on another island and have little monorails that just go from each one. Things like that. Like, it's a really cool idea. I did try to like screw around and see if I could build like a little island in the middle of it, but you can't. Like, it won't let you build the terrain in there, just like it won't let you do it if you do it on normal land. I know that there's the way that where you make like a circle around like a bit of land and you keep that land there, but I really wanted to see if you could do it like in the actual middle of some lagoons, and so far doesn't seem to work. But hey, this is really cool. I mean, this is like a really neat way to like have a lagoon, and I look forward to messing around with this stuff more and just seeing how it all works. Alright, so now we're going to jump over to a tutorial about how to install this mod. It's pretty straightforward. Like, it may seem difficult because it requires some other files other than the mod itself, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So we will jump over to that now. Alright, so you're going to obviously need the Expanded Parks, aka Expanded Islands mod. I'll put all the links for all this stuff, including the Chaodenic mods, in the description for you guys if you want an easier way to get there. So you need the mod, and then you need the ACSE files from another mod folder, which is by the same modder, not Open Nausea, so it's not like some random person. The link is in the description for the Expanded Parks mod. You can just copy and paste it to go to it, and it'll take you right to it with a nice little unicorn for a picture. So you want to download this one as well. And it's basically you're just installing 2 mods. Like, it's not as difficult as some of the other Cobra stuff that we had to do in the original game, where we had to like inject everything, and you don't have to worry about that stuff for this. So just like you always would, you're going to unzip all your files. And I always just unzip mine into my download file. If you can see up there in between the 2 mods that you actually need, there's Northfire's Prince Albert, which is a great Albertosaurus mod from the original game that is now available. Check it out. It's awesome. I'll do it in a video some other time, but I was really excited to see that. I love that mod. So anyways, to get there, you know, you go to your Steam apps, your common folder, Jurassic World Evolution 2, and then you want to sit there, and I've totally forgot where I was going at that point for some reason, but then you go into Win64. Maybe. Did we go into Win64? Come on, let's do it. There we go. So, and then you go into your OLV data, and that's it. You just drop it in there. As you can see, it's already in there in my folder, so I'm not going to actually drag it over there, but that's all you would do. You just drag it over, and then you go to the other one, and you drag it over. These are new files. They do not replace anything, and that's how, you know, this functions, is that, you know, it's not replacing any files. It's not changing the game in any other way other than it's just adding an option to the game, which makes it much more flexible, much easier to use, and much less damaging to your old parks. As I said, you will have access to them now, even though this mod is running. You won't be able to change it. Like, if you're in the middle of a park and you want to expand it, you cannot. I don't know if that'll be an option in the future, maybe, but I know right now you cannot. Alright, and there is a way to verify, like, if you've got this all running properly. Obviously, loading the game up and it not crashing is a good first indicator that everything's going well. But it should be working properly and as intended. If you see where my mouse pointer cursor is, see where it says ACSE 0.602. If that's showing up, that means that it is installed properly, and when you go to start a sandbox, you should be able to have that expanded option. And that's all there is to it. It's really not, it's not too difficult, like, compared to some other mods we've dealt with in the past. So yeah, that's it. That's the new Expanded Parks map, or Expanded Parks mod. I'm really excited to start playing with this. Once I finish off the Mirblick park, which I've got a couple more episodes of that kind of ready to go. Once I finish that off, I'll probably start on a cool expanded park, or I may start them congruously. We'll see. But anyways, thank you as always for checking out my video. I really do appreciate it. If you're new, consider subscribing or leaving a like, a comment to say hello. Tell me what you're excited to see with the mods, or just with the game in general. I always respond to everything as soon as I can. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. And as always, I will definitely have more mods for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And until next time, have a good one.